This episode is brought to you by Snap Guam Studios. Film photography is making a comeback on Island. One of the questions I get ever since I started film photography is where I get my roles developed. Snap Guam is a Guam based photography and videography studio that offers film development and scanning services. They also have a variety of different film stocks like Kodak Gold and my favorite, Portra 800. Want to start getting into film photography? They also sell film cameras from SLRs to rangefinders and disposables. Get your film developed by Snapguam Studio today. Contact them on Instagram at snap.film.record_gu. Sinky clap. Yeah, welcome back to the Dusk Till Don podcast. We got a solo episode for y'all today, and thank you for tuning in. It's nice to talk to y'all. The one episode I talked about kind of weird, just talking to a camera that can talk back to me. But you know what? I'm enjoying it, and you're all first to listen to me. So here we go. Today's topic's kind of heavy. Um, the one I want to talk about when to quit. I'm not saying I'm quitting this podcast, all right, for the record, but I think people need to realize it's not working out for them. Whether that be your day job or being a creative. Now, give me a second. Reaching out my phone. Someone got a quick message. Sorry. But people need to realize or they need to understand when's an okay time to quit. Now, as creatives and as entrepreneurs, we don't want to hear that or we don't want to accept that. At least I don't want to. But it's expensive being a creative. I'm blessed to be doing this. I'm blessed to be talking to a camera that cannot talk back to me. I'm blessed to be a landscape and portrait photographer, and I'm blessed to be a YouTuber. But not everyone is in my shoes. And this is also advice that I'm going to take if it unfortunately ever comes to this. It's expensive being a creative. As a creative, you as your own boss, you know. This is what people don't tell you when it comes to being an entrepreneur. I can only speak about being a photographer and videographer because this is all I'm doing at this time. I don't have a brick and mortar shop. I don't have other than photos or video. My product isn't tangible like merch, but you're your own brand. You're your own boss, right? That means you're responsible for the money that comes in. Now, when you have a regular job, your responsibility is to provide a service, and the responsibility of your employer is to pay you for for your service. You, as the boss and employee, are also you are now responsible for both. You are responsible for to provide a service or a product, and you're responsible to get yourself paid. Uh, that's very difficult, and it's very scary, and not everyone makes it. Already being an entrepreneur is a saturated thing because everyone wants to have their own thing going on. My late mom wanted to own her own restaurant. My dad wants to be a farmer. My goal is to make sure that happens for him, by the way. But not everyone lives out their dreams, and that's an unfortunate thing. But because sometimes life happens. Me, as a photographer, videographer, I want to make a living off of taking photos and doing video work because this is like something I've sunk my heart into, right? But and this is something other creatives can attest to, I would like to think. Because we manage our own schedule, because we manage our own everything, there's no it'll be difficult. You have no real backup plan. At least I didn't have a backup plan when I became a photographer. Ironically, that was when I made the most money as a photographer. But this market is very saturated. Again, as an entrepreneur, there's how many restaurants, there's how many farmers selling to markets, selling to the government. There's so many, and sorry if you're watching, my ear got itchy. But back to serious note. There's so many businesses already. Now you take that into a creative field. How many people have a camera? These days, everyone can be a photographer. These days, man. One time, someone said, "Take a look at this photo; it's better than yours," and I took it off my iPhone. Whatever. Everybody's a critic. But this market as a creative is super saturated. Now you take in a creative entrepreneur. It's even more saturated, right? If everyone could do it, if everyone could be a photographer, everyone would be a photographer. If everyone could be a paid photographer, everyone would be a paid photographer. That's a better sentence. That's a better statement. But not everybody can, and not everybody will. And again, this is just some kid. Oh man, I'm not kidding anymore. This is just some guy from Guam talking. So take this with a tub of salt, not a pinch of salt, a tub of salt. But everything, it's so saturated right now. So my job and your job, if you're a creative listening, is to stand out and make people want to hire you. Your job is to fund your hobby. I would love to make a living taking photos, talking to a camera that can't talk back to me, and get paid and do this for the rest of my life. Right? And again, or not again. Please click the Amazon links down below. Go shopping in there. Support the channel. Support the podcast. Anyway, I would love to do this for the rest of my life. I would love to get paid to do this. Heck, if I didn't have rent to worry about, I would be doing this all day, every day, 8 days a week. Yes, I said 8 days a week. But I got bills to pay, and this isn't paying, at this time, this isn't paying me. Heck, I'm net negative doing all of this. But I got to take the risk. And we'll talk more about taking the risk in the first place in a bit. But I need money. I need to pay bills. I have a dog. I have a dad who needs me. If I had a girlfriend, that'd be worse. I'm sorry. If I had a kid, that would be worse. But being a creative at this time isn't paying the bills for me. I don't know about everyone else that's listening, but you need to find a way to get compensated somehow, because even though you'd say you'd love to do this for free, I will take these concert photos for free for you. I'll do your wedding for free. Just because I love you, you're my friend, I'll do it for you. You got to realize that you can't pay the bills with a dope shot. You cannot go to your landlord and say, look at this picture of the bride and groom. Look at this video I took of pre-spools. Look how nice it is. It's filmed at 4K 120 frames per second at 10-bit 422. If you're a videographer, I hope you understood that. If you're not, my bad. But wouldn't that be nice? Paying your rent with dope photos and footage. If that's the case, I'd be rich. But I'm not. I'm broke. I'm dead broke. If you know me and you know what I do for a living, yes, I'm still broke. I have bad financial habits. That's on me. But, I'm not here to talk about that. I'm just here to let you know I'm broke. At the end of the day, being an entrepreneur, you got to get paid somehow. And ideally, in an ideal world, in a just world, I would be putting the money that I get from doing this back in to doing this again. It's I heard Mr. Beast talking about it. He if he's bringing in, again, this is just me summarizing. He has a lot of he's been in a lot of interviews talking about it. Mr. Beast would take the profit that he made from one video and reinvest it into the next one. If he makes $1 million in this video, next video he's gonna take that million, put it into the next one. Me, I would love to do that one day. But not everyone could be a meester. Sorry, my accent. Not everyone could be a Mr. Beast. Because if everyone could be a Mr. Beast, then we all would. But right now, that's not happening. I'm not quitting yet. Heck, I don't see myself quitting. I know I'm going to make it. You got to throw some humbleness out the window and have some pride in your work. But I do understand at a certain point, if it doesn't work out, there has to be another way to make money. When I say quit, I don't mean give up being a creative. I mean quit what you're doing right now. That's what I mean. I got a little emo in the beginning. I got a little depressing, but you gotta know when to quit your current strategy, whatever it is. You gotta quit that because it's not working, right? To give into context, I've failed more times than I've succeeded in life. If I just quit completely, then I would never succeed, right? But what I did was quit the stuff that wasn't working and readjusted. But I also quit stuff that I love to do but didn't make money. Example, like recently I found time again to play video games, but video games was wasting my time. I was going to school and I was playing games. If you saw episode 5 of the podcast, in that with Evander de Guzman, we were talking about how I would just play Tekken in the middle of our comms class. Granted, that class was easy, so I was able to get away with it. But sometimes I'll just go home, play games, F all, just play it when I could be doing something else. I could be listening to an educational podcast. I could be reading a book. I could be doing schoolwork, which I should have been doing, and graduated on time. I'm still a college student, technically. I'm on a hiatus, but I could have been doing so much more with my life. Instead, I chose to play games. Now I've quit that and readjusted because that wasn't making me money. People could be like, oh, well, couldn't you monetize it and be a streamer? Couldn't you do Let's Plays? That wasn't in my thinking at that time. My thinking was to escape, play these games, F all. I was dirt broke. I couldn't afford to play games. I should be working. I should be asking my job to let me work, give me overtime, So I had to adjust. Now, earlier I was talking about you need to learn. In the beginning, I said you need to learn when to quit being a creative. What I mean by that is you need to know it's just not working. Like, man, shoot. If I could just do all this and get paid to do it, I would love to do it. If all my bills are taken care of, I would gladly quit and just do this. Quit my day job, just talk to a camera, get guests on, have the nicest stuff, whatever have you. Heck, I'm content with just this right now. But the bills don't stop. Rent stays the same. If I could just, if for every photographer there is out there, I think we're all trying to make it. Here in Guam, it's very small. We have a population of over 170,000, including those within the fans, those within the fence, so including military members. We have military members who are photographers. We have people who are living on base, who are photographers. We have people, military members outside the base who are photographers. We have locals who are photographers. I talked about Brian Canchute, who is a local photographer. I say there's enough to eat for all of us, which there is, but that's dependent on you being able to market yourself, you having the skill set, and you're in a little bit of luck. And unfortunately, doesn't turn out in our favor all the time. When I became a little side story, when I became news director, I was lucky and I was also hardworking. Lucky in the sense that everyone was leaving, and I was, and they looked to me because I was hardworking. And that's just a few, and that's also how I got into some other opportunities like this podcast, being a videographer, other facets of my life. But I've also quit. Like, I used to gig. I used to play guitar. I suck at guitar, by the way. I I really suck. I love playing the guitar so much. That was my first love. That was my first creative hobby I wanted to do. My first thing I wanted to uh, get paid to do. I wanted to be the rock star. Shoot. I wanted my idol was is uh, John Mayer and Jack Johnson and Tom DeLonge. Tom DeLonge because he sucks at guitar, but he made it. And I thought, oh my gosh, this guy with a whiny voice and mediocre guitar skills can make it. I can make it. Obviously, I didn't. I can't write. So I tried to write songs. I tried to learn how to sing, but I can't wear my heart out on my sleeve like that. So I quit. That wasn't working for me. I still do it as a hobby. I play guitar in my room, begrudgingly to my roommate. Sorry. I don't even think I used that word right. Sorry to my roommate. He just listens to me singing sad songs uh, while I that I learn on the guitar. But I used to gig. I used to, play at bars here in Guam every now and then as a guitarist. I'd follow some singer because I can't sing for crap to save my life. But if y'all want to go karaoke, let me know. But I used to do that. I got paid to do it, but I wasn't good enough to get paid to do it for a living. And I had to pivot because I'm like, yeah, it's nice to see this like $200 once in a blue moon. And it was fine to do it when I was a struggling college student who didn't really have anything else better to go off of. But as my schedule got tighter, as my time became more invested into other avenues like school, my retail job at the time, I was like, well, do I really want to make $200 tonight, but I miss out on not doing homework and staying up late and potentially being late for my day job, which is secure in the sense that I won't lose it because this is pre-pandemic? Or do I risk it all and try and become a local gigging musician? And that's another field that is super saturated and full of great talent who I hope to have in this podcast eventually. But do I try to do that? Do I But I look at my skill set, man, I'm like a campfire guitarist. And we'll talk more about that after this break. This episode is brought to you by Snap Guam Studios. Film photography is making a comeback on island. One of the questions I get ever since I started film photography is where I get my roles developed. Snap Guam is a Guam based photography and videography studio that offers film development and scanning services. They also have a variety of different film stocks like Kodak Gold and my favorite, Portra 800. Want to start getting into film photography? They also sell film cameras from SLRs to rangefinders and disposables. Get your film developed by Snapguam Studio today. Contact them on Instagram at snap.film.record_gu. This episode is brought to you by D-Day Studios. D-Day Studios is a local photography and videography service run by, well, me. And this is my podcast, so shameless plug. Be sure to follow me on Instagram at D-Day Studio 670 and send me a message if you want to take some bomb photos today. Again, that is D-Day Studio 670 on Instagram. Now back to the episode. Welcome back from the break. Sorry, that was kind of abrupt, but we're back on it. We're a little lit right now. I'm not gonna talk about what I did during the break, but we all right. We all right, all right, all right. Shout out Matthew McConaughey. But back to the serious topic. Knowing when to quit. It's something that you need to have a conversation with yourself because you need to realize your return on investment, your ROI, right? Look at me trying to sound like I'm so prophetic. So like I know what I'm talking about too. But again, earlier I was talking about how I had to quit being a gigging musician. Granted, if anyone wants to hire me, if anyone wants to hire a mediocre guitarist, DON6701452 at gmail.com. Hit me up over there. Or at Yo It's Done RJ on Instagram. You want to jam out? I still love doing music. I still love playing the guitar. I still love singing. If you want to hear a very monotone, whiny, emo singer, hit me up. But I was talking about how I had to quit that. I had to quit because I wasn't making money, man. Like sure, that $200 that one day, sometimes it was $50, that $50 to $200 I can make in one night. Is it worth it to not do my essay, to not start on my essay, to lose sleep and potentially wake up late for work? Was it all worth it? And I realized if at that time minimum wage was like $8.75, if I just shut up and worked for 4 or 5 hours, I would have made that. Versus potentially losing 2 hours and losing 60, then you get bad raps with the boss. Granted, I wasn't always late at the time, but stuff like that eventually adds up. And again, I wasn't that good of a guitarist. I was just some dude who could who had enough rhythm. Anything beyond 4/4 timing, so is beyond my scope, beyond my range. So I played your basic pop songs, and I was just down to play at some dive bar. It wasn't making me money, man. It was like in the beginning, it was cool. Again, I said it earlier before the break. In the beginning, it was cool. It was nice to get some side income. But eventually, as midterms popped up, as I was getting more hours because I was working at a retail store at the time. I was working at Macy's, and it was around holiday season, so we had a lot of OT. Shoot, why I didn't need to go and play guitar. Like, yeah, you could be like, well, didn't you love it, Don? Didn't you? Isn't music your thing? And I'm be like, I love it. I spent so much money on these guitars just to be mediocre at it, just to be somewhat okay. I love it so much. I'm more negative on my guitar than financial wise than videography and photography wise. But I realized like it wasn't worth it. Like I still had to practice the music, man. Our set list, we would change it every now and then depending who I'd gig with. And if they wanted a new song, I had to learn the new song. Then if the audience requested so we could get a tip, like shoot, I had to learn it on the spot. Like similarly to what I said about being a freelance photographer, dude. Like in one podcast, I talk about how there's more in the back end than there is that people see. Like being a photographer, they don't see your subscription, your services. They don't see how much hours you spend editing the photo. Like especially if you're a mastered Photoshop, they don't see you spending an hour photoshopping out on the wedding, the bridesmaid's ex-boyfriend. They don't see you photoshopping him out. That takes time, right? Similarly, they don't see you taking the time to learn these songs. To other musicians, they might be like, well, it's an easy song. Okay. But you're not the one playing the song. I am, and I still got to learn it, and I still got to partner up with my singer. So I'm losing money. I'm losing time doing all of this stuff. And at the end of the day, it wasn't worth it. Sorry if you see me on my phone. I'm not a busy man. It's just my phone blows up and I don't want to put on airplane mode in case an emergency happens. Or actually, I think I kind of am busy. Anyway, sorry. Again, ADHD. People don't see that. They don't see how much time you're investing. They don't see how much time you're investing into this product, into this service that you are doing. They just think, oh, you have, and again, they don't see how much you're spending on equipment. My guitar was, before I got stolen, lock your doors, hide your stuff. Don't leave your car unattended, get tinted. My guitar was what? $500. My pedal was $400. That's $900 right then and there. The cables to plug in was what? $35 each. I had to have two. Me learn, and again, I said this in one podcast where if I paid myself minimum wage and I'm playing 2 hours at a spot, 4 hours at a spot, if I was at the time it was not $9.25, it was like $8.75. So at $8.75, if I played, let's just say it was a good night and I played a 4-hour gig, at $8.75, we times that by 4, that's $35. And unlike photography, I think I'm okay with minimum wage because again, I'm not that good. I'm okay. Like I'm talking a lot of crap just because like you compare me to other guitars, I'm not that good. But I think I'm decent. All jokes aside. That's $35 just to show up. My guitar, again, that's what did I say? 500? I need a lot of gigs to pay off that guitar. My amp. I didn't even include my amp earlier. I was talking about my pedal board. That's what, $300-$400? Then I have to bring an amp because not everyone has a PA system. If I got lucky and I was playing at a wedding and they had a DJ, we just plug into him. But I wasn't always lucky. Sometimes you're just at a random dive bar and they expect you to bring everything. So not only that, the singer had to bring his own microphone too. In those places where we played really cheap spots. So the return on investment of me gigging, even though I loved it, I'm conceited as hell. I love playing guitar. I love being in the spotlight. Clearly, again, I'm talking to a camera. Clearly, I love the spotlight. I was an anchor, for crying out loud. I had to step aside. My heroes growing up were Eddie Van Halen and Slash and Jack Black and Tom DeLonge. These people, to be a musician, you got to be a little conceited. You're on the spotlight. You're doing it all, right? I had to realize I am not them. I don't. The argument can be made like, can't you just put in the effort? If you know me outside, I tell people I don't have talent. I just work hard and I'm hard-headed. I wasn't hard-headed enough to work hard to get better at guitar. My original thinking, quick tangent. I can barely hold a tune in singing. So I was like, okay, let me get decent. Let me shred on the guitar. Let me play some Eric Clapton, even though I can only play one song fully. It's his easiest song too. It's Wonderful Tonight. But when I realized I couldn't shred, I'm like, okay, let me learn how to sing so I can stay on tune. Even that I have a hard time with. That's why I don't sing unless we're at karaoke. I did all of that and I realized, you know what? I'm at the level where I'm comfortable at. I don't need to get better. I'm what you call a campfire guitarist. If we're at a campfire, if we're at a drink out, drink responsibly. If we're at a kickback and there happens to be a guitar, I can play a pop song. We can all jam out. But if you bring in the whole band and then y'all want to freestyle, you want to improv, and you tell me the song is in the key of G, I'm gonna be like, what's that? I ain't that guy. I'm at the level where I want to be, and I'm comfortable being that. And I've realized I am not that guy. I don't identify as a musician. I love music. I'll listen to all genres. And normally I don't like ska. There's some ska songs I dig. But contrary to what popular belief, I don't always listen to sad emo music. I don't always listen to Blink 182. Lately, I've been on a country kick with Morgan Wallen. That's a little mainstream, but I listen to a cappella country music. I love Home Free. You should listen to them. Free shout out. But I'm not a music. I don't identify as a musician. I play guitar for my church, and I'm cool with that. I got my fix off being a guitar. I get my fix off performing doing that. And I get to also worship the Lord at the same time. That's number one. We're not talking about religion. I'm just letting y'all know. I'm letting you know more about who I am, okay? But I'm not that guy. So it wasn't an easy thing to accept. I was like, oh, look at me. I'm gigging. I'm better than people who are better than me who play guitar. I actually get paid to do this. When really the other people had better things going on. Not all of them, we don't speak in absolutes here, but I had to realize it was time to leave that scene and just and I'm content. And that's something that you need to have a conversation with yourself. Because this gear, my gosh, you can have the best camera. You can have the best setup. You can have everything, the best gear. But it's nothing if you can't afford to live. And unfortunately, Guam is really expensive. Recently, I spent $55 to $60 for a week's worth of groceries. And mind you, this isn't like I'm making recipes. This is me literally putting whatever random spices I have onto my chicken breast or my ground turkey or my ground beef. I just put seasoning. Chicken breast I jam in the air fryer, and the other two I just fry on the pan, and that's it, pancit. I can't even make pancit because it's against my meal plan. But trying to lose weight and trying to be less fluffy. But it's so expensive being here, man. And if being a creative isn't paying the bills, then you got to change something up, dude. Like, I know I said when I had no backup plan, that's when I made the most money. But mind you, I had nothing to take care of. I didn't have a dog. My mom and dad they were financially stable prior to my mom's passing. I'm responsible for my dog. I'm responsible for rent. At the time, I was only paying $2 to $300 in rent because there was four of us living in a 2-bedroom apartment, and we were cheap. We wouldn't turn on the aircon till 11 p.m. and we turn it off at 6 a.m. That's because it was centralized. At the time, my back was, even though it was against the wall, I had other ways out. Mom and dad could chip in. I had My rent wasn't that expensive. I could pick up an extra shift here and there. Now I pay $1,000 a month in rent. My gasoline, I pay $55 a week. My groceries is $50 to $70 a week. I'm 27, dude, and I have no kids and I'm broke. That's not including my services on what I pay for my subscription services, man. So I had to quit that and find another facet to make money. I had to find another avenue to make money. I had to make money. If it was just me, I'm cool, man. I said it. I don't know if I said it in a previous podcast, but I like to tell friends when I was dirt broke, I was having the time of my life. I came to Guam with only $200 to my name, and I was about to be homeless because the dorms were full, and that was my fault. I was on a waiting list. I was number 30 on the line. Shoot, they weren't gonna call me. How many people waiting to get inside that place? Shout out to my friend Lester Passion for housing me. And my best friend Jen for, if he wasn't going to house me, she was going to take me in. But, at that time, I had nothing to lose. Now I have everything to lose. So, had to adjust. But that's, to me, quitting is better than not starting. It sucks to quit. It sucked that I can't or I don't play music like that anymore. I love to do it. You know, I love singing really emo songs on the, and to the people who care to listen. But again, it wasn't making me money. But I'm glad to say that I did it. I took the risk. I did it. I fumbled on stage. I messed up, but I did that. Not I have people who are better than me. People who I think, who if they started gigging, shoot, if they started recording themselves or started playing on YouTube or posting their stuff, I think they'd make it big. I think they are the same equivalent of Sung Ha Jung. If you know him, then you're a real OG in the guitar YouTube space. But I have people who are way better, but they're too shy. They don't want to make money off their talent, right? I did it. To me, I took some pride in that. I'm glad I did it. I s- I'm glad I took the risk. Because to me, quitting means at least you tried and you don't have regret. I remember when I started this podcast, when I said the first time was, I was always meaning to do something like this. I was always meaning to vlog. I was always meaning to record and talk to the camera like the crazy person I am. But I never did, out of fear of being judged, fear of, people are going, oh my God, look at this guy. He thinks he's hot. Crap. He thinks he can drop words of advice, words of wisdom. I, I'm worried about what these people who don't really know me, what their thoughts are of me. Why? If this fails, at least I can say I did it. There are people better than me who are better photographers, better videographers, better hosts, better podcasters. Heck, I can't even call them a podcaster because they didn't start. They're better at talking to the camera than I am, yet they don't do it. I would rather quit, rather recuperate, readjust myself than regret not starting. I wish I did this sooner because that would have mean I would have been better at it. And I would have told you guys my life experiences as I was going through it. I would have had it documented. I would have been, you would have experienced it live with me, Mr. or Miss Camera person, whoever I'm talking to behind the lens. Again, thank you so much for watching. And again, shop on Amazon using my links down below. Any money. Support the podcast. Support me. I would the regret of not starting would piss me off more. So I say this to say, you need to learn when to quit, but you should have the audacity to start. I say audacity because people are gonna judge you no matter what you do. They're gonna judge you if you start. They're gonna judge you if you don't start. Those people could be your friends. Those people could be strangers. Dude, their thoughts don't matter. I mean, most of their thoughts don't matter. Again, we don't speak in absolutes. But, how would you know when it's time to quit when you never even started? Take a look. Like, if I've been blessed to have a set for the podcast, but really, I was telling my homeboy, the producer of this show, like, I was always planning on doing one. I was gonna set it up where my phone here was gonna be my main microphone. That way I don't have to worry about charging. I was gonna sync it up like that. And I was gonna do it in my bedroom where you can hear my dog in the background scratching because I don't want her to interrupt my flow. I was gonna MacGyver my way through it all, but I've been blessed to do it like this. in this capacity, but I was gonna start it nonetheless, man. And I think if there's one advice I can give you, it's really just start it. Not everyone's gonna be a fan of your work, but people are gonna be a fan if it's decent enough, you know? Shoot, I had people who booked me when my photos were crap. They paid me to take their photos, and now that I look back at it, I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe they paid me. They paid me to play music for them, and I look back at the recordings, I'm like, holy crap, they paid me to do that? Yeah, they have money because I sucked. But I did it and I got better. I keep joking, I keep telling you guys I suck at guitar, but I got paid to do it. I have people who are way better than me. I know people, they didn't get paid. So technically, I'm a professional musician. So technically, I'm better. Threw humbleness out the window. I think you got, as a creative, humble yourself, but sometimes you got to pat yourself on the back, you know? But really, if you don't start, I think that thought will kill you more than you quitting. One time when I first started the vlogs, I was like, ew. Look at me talking to the camera. I'm so weird. I'm still weird. I'm still awkward talking to this camera like it's some person judging me, like real people. But we're getting better at it. I like to think, you know, I remember the first episode shoot. I was so shy I couldn't look into the lens. Now look at me. I'm like staring you down. Hi. Sponsor me. Clearly, humbleness and pride just go. But if I started earlier, I would have been better now. So if this doesn't work out, I have all of this documented. I have all of this published, and I can say I did it. It adds to, as we say, the lore. It adds to the dad lore that I'm going to have when I become a father, hopefully. If I can afford to have one. Oh my gosh. The joke I like to tell people is if I have a kid right now, that kid will not be fluffy like his old man because I can't afford to make him fat. I'm broke and Guam is expensive. But again, I did it. End of the day, even if it didn't work out, I did it. I'm I have no regret. Would I wish things were different? Could I have said this? Could I have done that? Could we set this up differently? I should have said this. I would have had different topics. Whatever. End of the day, I can't wallow in that because I still did it. It still happened. I produced a product. As we're wrapping up, we still have some time, but my closing thoughts really is like my to say that I did it is something better than not starting. I remember in the news, oh my gosh, how many times did I fumble on stage? I was so embarrassed. And during the break, I was talking to the producer. I had a big Freudian slip. I said, I'll have her on the podcast eventually. Destiny, quick, congratulations on your engagement. I don't know when this episode will come out, but congrats. uh, she and I, when we were co-anchors at PNC, we're talking about how I didn't watch High School Musical, and my intro line, because I was trying to deviate from the conversation, was Tom DeLonge is back in Blink 182, but I had a Freudian slip and it became Tom DeLonge is black. But I eat myself up all the time. I should have been like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I said that. I can't believe I did this, I did that. I did it. End of the day, we're all going to have regrets. I would regret more so not trying to be an anchor than anchoring. So, really, dear camera, dear Mr. or Mrs. or they camera, because we're all inclusive in here. Just start something. You can always, if you don't like it, if it doesn't make money, you can quit later on. You can be like, well, I did it at least. And that you're better than most people once you start something. You could be like, oh, I wish I started that. Just do it. Have the audacity to do it, man. Like, shoot, who am I to be telling you what to do? I'm just some dude from Saipan on a couch in Guam talking to a camera. I'm just some guy. But I'm doing it, and you're clearly listening to me. You got this far in the video. We're like, what, 30, 40 minutes in, and you're still here? What are you doing? If you think you can be a better podcaster than me, do it. If you end up sucking, you can say you did it. Shoot. But you need to be disciplined to know when to quit. Because if you're in my shoes, the moment you have responsibility, other people's lives, you got to bring in more money. You got to find a way to make either that, or you got to find a way to make it work. But you should still try. Because really, if you don't try, you're going to be remorseful. You're going to regret. And even though I say no absolute, I'm speaking from experience. Because I wish I tried doing choir earlier in life. I wish I tried playing guitar, gigging in high school. And now I live with those regrets, which is why I'm doing a lot of things differently. I'm healing my inner child, so they say. If you made it this far, thank you so much for listening. My final thought really is be unapologetically you. Unless what you do endangers people, then, maybe reevaluate your life's choices. I don't condone bad behavior. But just give it a shot, man. You can always stop it. If being a podcaster doesn't work out, if being a YouTuber doesn't work out, stop. Do something else. But at least you did it. That's better than most people. You know how many episodes I planned in my head when I started this podcast? Prior to me starting this specific podcast? I had like a whole storyboard. I threw that out the window. I had every episode planned to this minute detail. All talking points, everything. I had like 10 episodes. I said, never mind. Let's just do it. Let's just try it out. And now I got people listening. Thank you so much for listening. People watching, thank you so much for watching. If this doesn't work out, end of the day, we tried it out. Maybe something else better is coming along. So, in the words of Shia LaBeouf and Nike, just do it. Oh my gosh. Thank you. I know this is kind of different being a solo podcaster. To all my viewers, I have an itchy ear. That's why I scratch my ear. Audio people, I scratch my ear. Thank you guys so much for watching. And, I know it's kind of different. You think I would learn to shut up? No. In the words of my friend Hannah, I'm a Leo. I'm self-centered. I will talk. Shoot, if I didn't filter myself, this podcast would be 2 hours long. I've been filtering myself this whole time. I have the mouth of a sailor, but we're all PG in here because, I don't want to bleep it out. But yeah, we'll get more guests on. It's just nice to talk to you, Mr., Mrs., or they camera. We're politically correct up in here because I don't want to be canceled. Thank you guys and gals and theys. Thank you for watching. Until next time, stay cherry-cello. And don't forget, D-Day Studio 670 on Instagram if you want to hire me for photos or video work. And if you're going to go shopping on Amazon, click the link down below. You don't have to buy anything I listed. Again, just use the link if you're going to buy like dog pads or whatever. You're going to buy film, or actually you should be buying film on Snap Guam. If you Want to buy something off of Amazon? Just buy from my link down below. Stay sure, Cello. Bye.